Ask management, why'd she have to move her car?
Yes, I did speak to her that day in question. What had happened is Linda Bates came in and told me that she had parked next to her. She tore out and...
What do you mean? If they're
Parking right there.
our procedures, if those spots are full, are they parking inside?
All right, I'll just park next to her. It's okay.
On January 5th, 2014, a fellow coworker, Michelle Mullica, filed a complaint against Linda. Exhibit 4 is a copy of Linda's employee record documenting that complaint. The director panel's attention to and review at this time. Of Exhibit 4, it states on January 5th, there was a concern in the parking lot at Mullica.
Didn't want to park next to Linda or whatever the case was.
But Linda brought that to your attention.
Linda brought it to my attention, yes. I had no
Okay, that's all
idea.
I-
Did Michelle come to you prior to that and say,
No.
hey, I got a problem?
No,
Not until you went to her.
was my point, yes.
Dan, the woman scares me
Security came down
and told me I have to park next to her.
Linda, I have a question for you. When all this happened on the 5th, the alleged parking lot incident, why did you go to management and tell them for her not to talk to you that day?
Because of what I mentioned before, that she had spent the last month or so walking by me since she came back from an injury.
On January 8, 2014, Michelle Mullica filed a 4-page complaint against Linda. Exhibit 5 is a copy of that complaint.
And what I would like you to do is I'd like you to first just get your composure. I'd like you to write a statement to me, put it on paper, that you feel that she is creating a hostile work environment against you and she is harassing you by the things that she's doing.
Thank you for writing something up in regards to her. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so just...
On Tuesday, January 14th, 2014, Linda was brought into a meeting along with myself, Michelle Mullica, UPS Labor Manager Joe Brown, UPS Human Resources Manager Mike Arndt, and Day Sort Manager Dan Kelly. Now Michelle sits before you terminated for moving her car on January 5th or for filing a complaint about a hostile work environment as required by company policy.
That states that UPS Day Sort Manager Dan Kelly clearly stated, I believe you, Linda. I want Dan to explain how this went down, because as Linda was explaining what she was saying, Dan did get up and say, Linda, I believe you. And I'll give you my interpretation, and then Dan will say exactly what it meant.
Linda then stated that since she was 100% innocent, she would not move to any different shift. We then took a caucus, and when the company came back in, Michelle informed the company that she was willing to move to the preload shift and that Linda could stay on the day shift as long as Linda wouldn't double shift on the preload, so that she would not have to work with her at all. Linda then stated it was her right to double shift and they could not take that away from her and that they would have to fire her. The company then stated that either both of them moved or there was no deal. After Linda refused to move to a different shift, the company terminated both Michelle and Linda and took their ID badges and escorted them from the property, and neither has worked since.
At that time, the company offered a unique solution to this problem. Both employees needed to work at different sorts, they would not be working with one another. Staying on the day sort was not an option. This would allow both employees to remain employed with final warnings for violations of the workplace violence anti-harassment policy. Because a mutual agreement could not be reached, Linda and Michelle were both terminated for continued violations of the policy.
At that point in time, to stay in compliance with the law, we had no option but to follow the policy and to terminate her employment. So we could not find a solution to that. So that is the reason behind that chain of events. I have two people that, in their own perception, I believe the other one's creating a hostile work environment against them. We try to resolve it. We try to be able to put the two in different swords because of the petty nature of how they work together. That was unable to be reached, and that was the reason for us moving forward on the termination.
It goes through the presentation, kind of talks about how the meeting went, and Linda was asked if she'd be fired if she didn't choose a different shift, and UPS Labor Manager Joe Brown stated, I didn't say that yet. I point blank asked Linda, you need to pick a shift, the twilight of the night, because Michelle had already picked preload. She goes, what, are you going to fire me? And I said, you need to tell me what sort you're going to work on.
Michelle has gone out of her way and has proven that she will do whatever is necessary to keep her job at UPS, including switching shifts, so she no longer has to work with Linda Bates.
When the company came back in, Michelle informed the company she was willing to move to the preload shift and that Linda could stay on the day shift as long as Linda wouldn't double shift on the preload. Well, the issue there was that they came back and said that, but the situation was they neither of them could work on the day shift. They needed to separate themselves completely and work on different shifts for this process to rectify itself.
Thing in here, Dan Kelly, the sort manager that deals with this operation on a daily basis up until today, had an unequivocal belief of Linda Bates and what she's done, and has no time indicated that she has done anything to violate the policy.
Just go ahead and write something up, give it to me and put it on paper. I have a meeting scheduled for today with Human Resources, and it's my obligation to provide a safe work environment for everybody, and it's obvious. And, I'll tell you where I'm at, Michelle. I personally, this shit she's doing, if it was me, I would just blow it off.
Honey, I can't blow it off.
I
It's
get that.
just really easy for you to say.
This is the point where Dan Kelly said specifically, I believe you, Linda. In that meeting, Dan sided with her. Not slightly, not kind of, very explicitly, I believe you, Linda.
We tried to get a workable solution, but
So, my point being, if I have an exemplary record, and I've never done this before, I never had this kind of behavior before, why am I terminated? That's the bottom line. No punishment, no nothing. I'm terminated.
The reason for the termination of Linda today is due to the fact that she is creating in Malika's mind, her perception is that Linda Bates is creating a hostile work environment.
Do you believe she is?
I believe that they have both had part in this situation. I believe that over the past 4 or 5 months, I don't think Linda has been as active in that event as Michelle, but I think they both have ownership in the relationship in the small sort. She's fired for creating a hostile work environment in the small sort.
Okay, is she fired for these statements? That was my question.
No,
Okay. Is she fired because she allegedly called her a bitch?
she's fired because she created a hostile work environment.
Okay, would you want to answer my question?
But that would be, I imagine bitch would be part of that.